You're listening to the Wicked Theory Podcast.
We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Broadcasting to you live from the bar car of the Orient Express. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. Cha 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 cha. Yeah. Sacre bleu, my friends. We are back. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. I'm Johan
Stravinsky.
Sebastian Sweeney. Johann Sebastian Bell.
Swing. I got some people with me. I got the man of steel books himself, Jay Chickalese.
Yep.
There we go. I got Dangerous Dom Torrey.
Yo.
I got Big Bad Bob Sweeney.
What's up?
And Ed, I'm secretly in love with John Goodman O'Hare.
Listen, you prick. There are 4 guys around here who can't be fired, and you're not one of them.
This is true. Holy crap. All right.
I think that's like the most accurate use of a John Goodman quote ever on this show.
I think so.
I think so. And I'm just kind of noticing that. Like,
It's also
I
the
was
only
coming
accurate use of a John Goodman quote on this show.
I was coming through kind of crazy, like annoyingly crisp, no? Wasn't I?
They have pills for that, Bill.
Thank you. Hey.
What's up?
How's everybody doing? How's everybody been? This is episode 131. We're back.
Well,
131.
we're all here, so no one got arrested, so that's a good thing.
Well, never mind.
What
was it, like a not arrested but
Move
story?
on. Move on.
Okay, move on.
Move on.
I don't understand why you would need to hesitate.
I said move on.
Well, getting arrested in Newark doesn't count, because everyone gets arrested
Yeah, this
in
is
Newark.
very true.
Who doesn't have a record out in that town?
What kind you're a nice boy. You don't get into trouble.
Yeah, all right.
Not these days.
When you're 18, you get
my
your
name
driver's
ain't Ed
license and you get
O'Hare.
your police record.
Record.
So let's do some official business real quick. Yeah, this is episode 131. We got some news. We got a little bit of email, I think. I didn't check it, but maybe. We got chat room game coming up. We got some reviews. These boys saw movies. We're going to tell you all about it.
Yep.
What are you working on over there?
Nothing.
Well, okay. That's a lot of paper in that. And
I just broke a street date.
yeah, so emails, if people want to send in emails, they can at podcast at wickedtheory.com.
Yep.
Want to point out that we did a Thor review special episode. If you finally saw Thor, would say that 3 times fast.
Thor Ragnarok.
No. See, I saw Thor like 3 times fast.
Thor.
Well, that's not what I said, but all right,
Fuck
whatever.
Ed.
You know,
I
hey,
saw
that's it.
Thor.
I'm
I saw
not
Thor. I
going
saw
home.
Thor. Ragnarok.
If you do it as the movie guy, I think it takes away some of the potential tongue twister.
Press 1.
Thor Ragnarok.
All right, enough. We did a special episode on that, a review episode, some spoilers, but some non-spoilers up front. So it's the same.
Just see the movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's a spoiler to say it's a good movie.
That's true. That's true.
I think that's not a giveaway.
It's still making money. Also, check out the DC TV report. That's Ed and Sarah Netzley, freelance writer for Entertainment Weekly, EW.com, where they get together every week.
Yeah, it's amazing how Ed got hooked up with that show, with Sarah.
Okay.
No, because she's got such a great resume.
No, yeah. She's, I don't want to say she's...
And he's Ed.
Well, you're trying to say, like, she's slumming?
No,
Ed's
not
got
at
a
all.
good resume, too.
Actually, he does. He does
Shots fired.
within our organization.
You
he's
know,
awesome.
I know you wanted to kind of give a compliment, but you were really setting up like an insult. You know, I don't know.
I was just trying to make a joke at Ed's expense. I'm sorry.
It was a busy week in the DC TV universe this week.
I
you
don't think it was.
We had a trip to Vegas, missing someone's birthday. We had an engagement breakup. We had a bachelorette party.
You got rid of a dog.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started
You know
on
what it
this.
is? I'm still mad at Ed for not catching up on Discovery. That's what it is.
Oh, it's true.
And he's such a
That's
Star
true.
Trek fan.
He was the
I
one
got
guy
nobody
you
to
had,
share with and to
right?
talk to.
I
I can't even talk about it on the show because he's not watching.
I do have to get on that.
You're going to have to hand in your Federation identification card.
Well, you know what?
Next week he's a cadet. Right now he's ensign.
Yeah, no. That's our buddy Jason over there.
All right. Well,
Jason Star Trek.
So check out the DCTV report this week. They got 6 shows you guys are recapping.
Yep.
A lot going on over there. Don't get me started on those bachelorette parties from Flash. Just I probably should have called in to the episode you guys were doing. First time, like, I'm gonna interrupt this fucking show.
You can do that.
And that's true. I mean, I do. I guess have that potential power in a way, but yeah, the Flash. That's something else over there. Let me tell you. But also, hey, if people want to check out what our buddy from Gotham Lights is up to, Steph, she did a mixtape episode of our liner notes. They can check it out. It just recently dropped. So as you listen to this, whether it's live, whether you're listening live or just afterwards, go check it out at Our Liner Notes. We've done some episodes over there. We'll be there too in the future. And Steph's a big friend of the show, and a big fan of hers.
Yeah, this is going to be different from my episode of Our Liner Notes because Steph actually listens to music.
Right, right, yes. And
yeah, I'm supposed to
she has
swear
taste.
something away with those guys too one day soon.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. We're going to be making the rounds through here.
It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Do some funny.
I'm gonna do something
funny.
fucking just
No,
tear it up.
don't fucking do something funny. This is music. It's not a comedy
Dom's
show.
a big music
Who said
lover.
do something funny? You said do something funny?
Yeah,
No, you can't really.
You can.
If you want, I mean, you can. And
You can have fun with it.
Yes.
But unless it's like, well, Ed brought a funny band and I brought a funny band in the end, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, you can do that too in a way. But I think what Dom is saying, because Dom's a big music head and he's digging that show. He's been going through some episodes.
So do I. I agree with him.
So, you know, he's like,
I'll do
"Don't-
the Partridge Family.
Let's not take it too goofy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get you. I get you.
The Partridge Family.
Let's talk fucking music and break it down, right?
Do one of Leonard Nimoy's albums.
Do the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. I mean, everybody loves that, right? He's got other songs? No, just the one.
Yeah. He's got an album called
no.
Spock Sings.
I'm sure he does. And I'm sure it's filled with nothing but emotion, right? Because if Spock was going to sing, like, it would be like maybe a couple of like Frank Sinatra tunes or something like that where it's very flat and kind of just like, I just kind of raise my volume. I don't really, sing.
Yeah, I think Vulcan music is more like Gregorian throat chanting.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
Maybe I'll bring an Iron Maiden album with me.
There you go.
You guys remember Leonard Nimoy's
bring the first one.
Leonard Nimoy's an OG theater actor too.
Oh, OG. He's OG, son.
Yeah, that guy like toured around the world doing a one-man show about Vincent Van Gogh. Like that, you know.
And he
that
cut his
guy's-
ear for it, too.
That guy's for real.
What?
He's committed. That's what he said.
Yeah.
It's half the play.
That's right. That was the bit.
That's the bit. So go check out that. Ed gets it.
I got it. I got it.
He's on a 7-second delay, like, you know.
It's okay.
That's his devotion to
That's
radio.
what editing is for. You edit that in.
Right. We should have you on a separate channel, I guess. Make it easier. So who's in the chat room? Because if people are listening live, they
Not
can hang
me.
out with us on Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and get in the chat room.
Yeah.
We got Agent Palmer. We got Wesley Ryan Gaskins. We got Meow God.
Mm.
Meow, 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 meow.
That's not cool.
We don't have Meow God
That we
anymore.
both did that at the same time.
We don't have Meow God anymore.
That we chased out.
You got
Already?
insulted.
I'm kidding.
I piss him off already.
I'm kidding.
So let's give him something to do. How about a chat game called Sci-Fi Menu Items?
Ooh, yes. Examples include sautéed sarlacc with Jedi au jus and Enterprise edamame.
I still don't know what that is.
Horny fucking
Edamame
hard.
is like a bean.
Is that what it is?
It's a green bean.
Yeah.
It's a green bean.
I believe it was created in a laboratory. It's one of those, like, hybrid vegetables.
Well, then I guess it
Sounds
would be
like
a very
a-
appropriate thing for
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
There
like
you go.
it's like a cross between a sweet pea and a lima bean. Like one of those, like.
Mmm. Yeah.
Mushroom spores, right?
Let's do a podcast about lima beans.
No, lima beans.
Vanilla
are boring.
bean.
Edamame.
Edamame. Everybody loves edamame. Did you hear the new album? How about we get ready for some news? How about that? We just kind of
News.
get to it. How about that? Oof.
Ow.
Ow. We got to take the tape off that thing. News o'clock.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Satan.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know how a couple of months there's a new Star Wars movie, and that's like the
There is?
yeah, there is.
Oh, really?
There's a rumor going.
It's called The Last Jedi.
Oh, wow.
Right.
with Ryan
right.
Johnson.
Wow. Who?
It's
Do
actually
you
like,
know who that is?
6 weeks.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Not even 6 weeks.
Who is it?
Ryan Johnson directed Looper, Brick.
He is the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I think that's what Dom meant. Like, who do we know who the Last Jedi
Oh, Luke.
is?
Yeah, no.
That's Luke.
Yeah, Ryan.
It's
no,
Luke.
no. Ryan Johnson just straight up said it on Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's Luke.
He basically did, right? He's like,
Yeah.
we don't have to worry too hard about this, guys. It means Luke.
But so yeah, so that's the second film in the latest Star Wars trilogy. And Deadline Hollywood announced this week that Ryan Johnson has been set by Disney and Lucasfilm to write and direct a trilogy of films that will fall under the Star Wars brand, but will be a completely new story with original characters set in a different galaxy.
What? Cool. What?
Yep.
Why the fuck?
I like the idea of trying to branch out, but I think the big question is like, what is it going to be if it's not?
It's going to be
What
the
we
Star
know
Trek
from-
Star Wars
Well, that's-
crossover because
yeah.
it's going to be a whole new galaxy.
I don't know if I think it might be a misinterpretation of what they mean galaxy.
I think so too. I think they might just kind of mean like it's going to delve with.
It's the same universe.
It's going to have
just-
Jedis and stuff like that because it's got to be something that because the things that make Star Wars not just a sci-fi universe by itself is we could do that tomorrow.
Go ahead.
I know it's like looking at peeling paint, and it's like I want to fidget with it, but please don't. But it's a thing where I think like what's the inherent stuff? I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
just for that. That's why. I did
Okay,
that.
all right. But it's like what's the inherent things of Star Wars? It's not if you because they said that it's not going to be about Skywalkers. Like it's not so you got to have the Jedi. I mean at least the Force. Maybe in another pocket of the universe or something else like that. It's there and it's interpreted differently or something, but there's got to be some carryover, like for it to have the Star Wars thing on it.
I'm sure it will. I think that them saying that it's another galaxy is just a misinterpretation.
Yeah.
I
Another
think
time
it's
period or
it's the
something.
same universe. It's just another story.
Right. They mean that kind of
Dealing with
loosely. It's like
different
Well,
things.
I mean, to me, this just means Ryan Johnson is going to be commissioned by Disney to do 3 sci-fi movies.
I got you.
Pretty much.
No, it's just basically saying that this Last Jedi
Yes, this is a big thing. Go
is
ahead.
probably amazing.
To put that much faith in him to say
As a producer
whereas
and
everybody
writer.
thought like J.J. Abrams was going to be like guiding this thing probably forward. All of a sudden, here comes Ryan Johnson, and he's got some kind of new take, new spin, or who knows? A lot of people are like, oh, the Old Republic, or some of these other big fan favorite storylines in the mythos of the side stuff. You know what I mean?
That's
But-
probably the link.
But that's the thing. It's like
Them
where's
talking about it.
Well, that's the thing too. It's probably about gauging, not so much what are people really like, what they're excited about. I'm sure his pitch is, irregardless of that. Like, you know what I mean? It's either it is that stuff or it isn't. But it's not about necessarily saying, well, what do the fans actually like have to have? You know what I mean? But I think that thing is, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's very interesting news, though.
I
man.
ran. I forgot what I was gonna go.
Nonetheless,
No, yeah, I think it's interesting. They have to have a plan for after this because that's the thing we've talked about before. It's like, after you run out through the Ray trilogy or whatever you want this to be.
well, it's actually closing the entire saga.
That's what I mean. Like, then what? Like, you can't just go back and just try and pick out, solo origin stories.
The one thing we've seen through all of these Star Wars stories is the death of the Jedi. And now
Yeah.
we're seeing The Last Jedi. So my guess would be that because you want Jedi in this. So it's going to go back 20, actually, it would probably go back 50, maybe 70, 100 years.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I'm thinking.
During like a whole separate
Yeah,
Shit, man, you got
group of characters' lifetimes.
it would be cool to see the origin of the. I would love to see that as a
Well,
film.
not even necessarily the origin, but like the whole, because there's a whole thing about the Jedi that's like hundreds of years old.
Well, here's the thing, too.
In the battle between the Sith and everything.
Yeah, there was a book
So-
called Tales of the Jedi that Dark Horse put
So
out.
you gotta maybe you can just have hundreds of them around and
I have a theory that because in the movie, in the upcoming one, there's a big symbol on the floor in that place where Luke is with her, and that relates to this order and Order of the Wills or something like that. It's called
Jedi Warrior, I think.
Book of Wills.
The Book of Wills, and so it's a Jedi Order thing, and it's an ancient thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's our seed into the new stuff, which is actually about saying let's just cover a generation past.
Cool.
But I think everybody is kind of freaking out with the verbiage of, oh, it's going to take place like just someplace else. It's going to be something else.
I
And
think it's
like,
taken. I think it's a misinterpretation.
Right. I agree. Well, a little bit more on that because Disney's also now announced that we're going to get a live-action Star Wars TV show for sure now, but it's going to be part of Disney's upcoming platform, pay platform, their Netflixy kind of approach, which is also going to have some new high School Musical stuff, which I know Don will be into.
Will I?
Well, just because I think it's like, let's
I
see
mean,
what Vanessa Hudgens doing. Right?
It'll.
She's like kind of come back as a teacher.
She
I would
did have
imagine.
Powerless, but they canceled that.
They canceled that.
But I
I'm
mean,
only
it'll
teasing
do
you.
like the nostalgia thing. But
No, yeah, I'll be only teasing.
will it be good? Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know. Zac Efron's kind of funny as fuck now.
If
so.
they got,
It
if
might-
he's
like
not
if
doing
they
anything,
do like a fucking rated R, like with Vanessa Hudgens, Zac
No,
Efron, that would be
no,
pretty
that'd
dope.
be great.
Yeah,
That would be
they
pretty
would-
dope.
they would
But they
never
would
do that.
obviously never do that.
No.
obviously.
Yeah.
So, but they also are saying that, like, so their platform's going to have new Marvel content, new original show content, Star Wars content. So, in this ever
Well, they only have,
changing world,
yeah, they only have the biggest catalog on the planet to pull from.
Yeah, you're also not mentioning that they're doing an adaptation of a new Monsters Inc. TV show.
well, that's true too. They are covering kind of like every stage of
Yeah.
the age range that they like to hit.
Well, I'm sure that they want to just basically take the Disney Channel
Yeah,
and turn it into the Disney Network.
yeah, which
absolutely.
You know, and
And shoot it up with roids.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
which basically to
Hey.
what I say, no John Goodman, no Ed Watching.
That's all it takes, I guess, huh?
I think though that this streaming service is going to be a little bit more serious. Like we could take this a little bit more serious than the Disney Channel.
I agree. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the Disney
oh, yeah,
Channel
yeah.
is a fucking absolute
Yeah.
joke.
Well, that's just for kids.
You know, it's
Yeah.
purely for children.
Well, that's what I think.
So I
Well, yeah,
hope
this has to
and
be-
pray that this is.
They have more than one video brand. I mean, they used to have Touchstone Pictures, and they have other branches nowadays. So,
Hollywood Pictures. I think was
so
another one.
it can just expand into everything for everybody, and
I
it'll just
think
be
if-
the Disney.
Yeah.
You can leave if you're a Disney fan, you can live a Disney life now.
even if
Imagine
they
that.
do it like a SpongeBob, where it's like
I don't know if you're
Adults
gonna get
could
that.
tolerate
See,
it,
that's the thing.
like,
Unless
you
there's
know?
some kind of parental control on their end, like I'd be hard pressed to see Disney doing that because
you don't think they're going to go as far as SpongeBob?
right. That's my thinking. Well,
Really?
no. I'm saying SpongeBob, like as it's always been, sure, but no, like new edgier update of that.
I thought
Like,
I
don't-
didn't think that they owned SpongeBob. Though.
No,
it's
they don't.
Nickelodeon,
I'm,
but he's
I'm
using that
just
as an
saying, like,
example.
because it's a cartoon that is for kids, but adults can find humor in it.
Well,
too.
they do
Right.
that on the channel now. I mean, they have shows like Phineas and Ferb. I don't know if that's even still on.
Yeah.
They do that as well. So that's something that's I think part of their concept now.
I just don't
because-
think they're gonna push the edge though. Like with this, it's not like it's gonna be like all the Netflix shows are now gonna end up over here. Which they might, but like
Well, no, they're already pulling all their
Yeah, I was
content off
gonna
of
say.
Netflix. That's what this
yeah,
is
yeah,
for.
this is
Yeah.
all their other stuff.
Yeah.
But like right now, like the contractual obligations for the Marvel Netflix originals.
Yeah, but, like,
is standard. But like the thing is, like even if Disney were to like say, okay, we're going to start making them and putting them on ours, like the content would shift. I think the seriousness and the tone would shift. And now all of a sudden you have 3 seasons of shows on here that don't fit, or that have curses and all this other stuff that's not like anything else, unless you
Yeah,
put it
really.
behind an adults only wall.
You're not going to get season 2 of Daredevil.
That's the same.
on.
or fits.
I don't think
on
that's
Disney.
a fair assessment, though.
No,
I
I think the shows that are already established, I don't think they're gonna fuck with them. They're not dumb. They're not dumb.
I don't
Yeah.
think they'll bring them over. Is what I think.
No, they're gonna bring them over, but they're not gonna fuck with them. I mean, like they're not gonna Disney Channelify.
Yeah, I don't think
Daredevil.
so either.
it'll be one streaming service, but you'll have different channels. You'll have a channel
have-
that's
right.
just for kids,
Exactly.
a channel
Yeah,
that's
you'll
for
have
special
you'll have
login.
certain menus that are locked out unless you have a password.
they'll have something for ABC content. They'll have something for ESPN content.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
because they
right,
own
right.
that too.
Yeah.
Listen, getting back to your topic and touching what they're saying, I think with the Star Wars thing, the last 2 movies get dark in areas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, they're probably Rogue One and Force Awakens are
Sure.
probably a little darker than usual. So I think that we're going to see a hint of that kind of tone into this new series.
Right,
So
sure.
that would bring in more darker stuff with
Yeah,
Marvel
well,
property.
Yeah.
And with maybe other shows too. Maybe this.
I mean, they
will
haven't
be-
illuminated on it, so I mean,
Well,
it
I
could
think-
very well be the plan to kind of have
Yeah,
there
I
be
think-
an outlet that's
I
more
think-
mature.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The Rogue One, I think, solidified the idea that they need to do these things right
Yeah.
for them to be accepted long term.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the J.J. Abrams movie, that one got biased because it hit all the buttons. It had all the member berries going for it and all that.
Member berries.
And then
And it was still a solid.
and it was
film.
still a solid film, but
Yeah.
it just felt like it was like afterwards it left a little aftertaste.
Well, it's
You know what I
it's
mean?
the entry
But
in.
Rogue
and,
One,
yeah.
Rogue One showed them that they need to do it right because they had another ending already for that movie and they didn't go with it.
Right. But I think
You
it
know,
showed
and
them
which
that
was
they
the right
can,
thing to do.
that they can do mature things with their properties. I think the thing for me
Mm-hmm.
is just like, what are they going to do when they offer up the service? Like, you know?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I think they realize they have to let the properties be themselves.
Yeah. Well, that's the
You
thing.
know,
right.
and I think that's why if they're going to do this and they're going to take everything, all their material, and put it on their network, it's going to end up being a tiered setup or a separate menu setup where
Right.
certain things are locked out, for parental reasons, and other things will be locked out for tier reasons.
Right. I feel like too. I feel like there's a certain argument too. Like like I hope that they don't. I kind of don't want them to pull the stuff off Netflix. I really fear that change of content.
They're already doing it though.
No, but I mean like, yeah, but
Like,
I
and
guess
I
there's
read
nothing
an
to do with
article.
it.
I read an article from Complex yesterday that
Yeah.
said that they're gonna fully start doing it.
Right.
No,
Like,
but yeah, by the end of
by
the
like the end of the year, like
the only thing that's going to stay up is the Netflix exclusive stuff. With
Well, that's what I
Marvel.
mean. That's the stuff I worry about.
yeah.
I don't worry about
Well,
like
no,
losing
no.
like Little Mermaid and that kind of shit because that's I've talked about that way. It only makes
Come
sense for Disney to
on.
have that in the
Bill.
vault.
Come on, I
Bill,
see you sneaking in Moana.
We've seen.
Yeah, maybe.
We've all seen the posters in your room.
That's true.
All right,
That's true.
let's
That's true.
move
Let's move
on
along.
here.
Let's move along. I have more on that, but let's move on.
In other words, cash.
Cash.
Yeah.
Well, not from my pocket.
So
They did say it would be cheaper than Netflix, though. They
Yeah.
were like substantially cheaper. They want to go.
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
At
Yeah.
the start. At the start.
Yeah.
What is it? 11 at Netflix? It's gonna be $9.99.
Yeah, right.
No, it'll start at 6.
They'll start at 6 or 7 like they
6.
all do.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So next up, Universal.
Who cares?
The Mummy came out. We had this whole dark universe platform with all the Universal monsters.
Yeah, I read this too.
Yeah, we had Bride of Frankenstein,
Brad.
with Javier Bardem, Invisible Man with Johnny Depp, and A Creature of the Black Lagoon, maybe. And Universal announced that all those movies have been taken off the release board.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because
And-
Good
because Star Trek Discovery stole the
With budget, the funds.
stole the idea for the Creatures of the Black Lagoon and threw everything out of whack.
Okay.
But Alex Kurtzman and Chris Morgan, who are the architects behind that, have moved on to other projects.
Kurtzman's going to be busy, it seems.
Mummy did not do well. Jay and myself both liked it, but for all the wrong reasons.
We trashed it on the show though.
Yeah. But I remember we were both like, I really like this.
It was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
It really was. It's kind of sad in a sense.
Yeah. So this and this is something that could have been big. They tried to do a Marvel thing, which just shows how Marvel is the outlier. That's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, it takes more than just, a will and a want. You know what I mean? You have to have content that still stands great on its own first,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah, I think if Universal wants to do something with these characters, it has to do other things first to reinvent them in people's eyes before it starts making movies with them.
Right.
License them out to comic book companies and just let them have fun with them.
Right.
And whoever comes up with a great idea,
Well, that seems
great.
to be
We'll take that concept and we'll run with that story and make it a movie.
and that seems to be kind of their stance now coming out of this. It's like, hey, these things are not like completely dead in the water. We're just kind of out going forward with that angle per se. Like if someone comes over with a great take
there's
on a
an-
solo film, we'll still do Creature of the Black Lagoon.
The issue with that is that this is Universal property, and it's iconic Universal property. All
Right.
these monsters, I can't see them trying to, Marvelize it.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. They have to
Yeah.
come at it for
Yeah.
a way where it's like it's connected tangentially at best. And then after you've set up like just characters in good movies on their own, you can kind of retrofit some connections later.
Yeah,
Like,
and-
don't try so hard to make it a piece of a puzzle.
Well, just last thought from me. The only thing that I can see them doing is because Hammer Films has made a return recently.
Oh yeah.
And if they can get their hands and just do like Mummy films or Dracula films and don't, attach it to the Universal stuff, they could have a resurgence of these monsters.
Well, all the big monsters, Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy, those are all public domain. So that's stuff they can work with. But
yeah, right.
It just you can't use the same iconography from the classic movies. And this is not the first time Universal has done this.
No, I mean, think about that great De Niro Frankenstein we got.
Yeah. Well, also I was thinking more. I was thinking more the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie.
You would.
Yeah, or that horrible
The Villages.
that horrible Benicio del Toro Wolfman movie.
I liked that Wolfman movie. It was that Dracula shit with Luke Evans. Luke Evans did a Dracula story
Not that long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is atrocious.
Untold.
Wolfman is actually very cool. I actually thought that was very good.
See, now, I could see
I'll rip
Benicio
you.
del
I'll
Toro
rip you for
being
real.
Frankenstein more than I could see him being a Wolfman.
Yeah, it was just I fell asleep in that movie. Also,
I'm falling asleep in this article. in this conversation.
So yeah, this is an opportunity that's lost. But
You're
moving
talking
on.
pretty nice for a guy who's sleeping.
I do.
What?
I do.
Chiefy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right,
So
what else we
excited-
got?
I'm so excited for the next one. Metal Gear Solid.
No, that was the article before. Metal Gear Solid is a good game.
It's
I
a
would
good
like to see it.
game. It's an interesting game.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting story within it.
That makes no sense the more,
yeah,
you look at
the more
it.
you look at it and the deeper you go, the
That's
more
why-
intertwined and
but
insane it becomes.
But it's interesting concepts and iconography. That word.
All right,
You know?
hang on.
Yeah, if you-
Iconography.
Bill,
Iconography.
hang on a second.
Yeah, I got you.
Iconography.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the save.
All right.
and by the way, earlier you said irregardless. That's not a word.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's regardless.
Survey said.
Irregardless is not a word either. But
Yeah, but that's why you get a writer to make some sense out of it.
so who's attached to this? Do we know?
So it makes some sense out of irregardless.
Jordan Vogt Roberts, who did Kong Skull Island, which
He's hot.
right now, yes.
Yeah. All right. No, Bill, I got a question for
I haven't
you.
seen a picture of him, but he's hot.
All right. For the last 25 years,
Okay.
I've been waiting for the video game movie that is gonna like break out and finally be started with Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
All right.
Then we
Is
had
this the one?
Yeah. Then we had Resident Evil. Like I swore Assassin's Creed was gonna be the one that was gonna make me.
We all
go,
had
like,
some hopes.
Oh,
We
this
all had
is
some
the big
hopes.
franchise. Make the case for this for me. Like how is Metal Gear Solid different? That gives it the shot.
Bob can give you that,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Better
Well,
than anybody.
it would be a military movie, number one. Right? So you could disguise it in all this patriotic stuff that they got going on all over the TV now.
There you go. Little SEAL Team 6
nice
angle.
and simple. I mean, it's not doesn't need a huge cast, doesn't need a huge budget. This is something that can be done actually like a B movie.
And you know who you get?
Who?
Tom fucking Hanks.
No, you know who you get because the guy.
Tom Hanks
No,
as Agent whatever his name is in this fucking as a fucking yes.
You know who you
get him ripped up,
You get
And
the,
I'll make a case for Resident Evil Apocalypse. Sorry.
You know who you get?
Who
you
you
get the
get?
guy who voices him because the guy who voices him is actually a Hollywood actor and a screenwriter, and he's actually written several screenplays that have
Does he
gone
look
to
like
the
the
movies.
character at all?
Kinda.
All right.
He's actually his name is David Hayter, I believe. If someone wants to look him up on IMDb, I believe that's his name.
Is it the guy from fucking
He's the
Stranger Things? Is that the guy who plays the sheriff?
so
No. What's his name?
They got a writer for
Hater?
this.
I believe
David
so.
Hayter?
No.
I believe it's David Hayter. I believe David something. David Hayter. David.
I'm looking at
Slater.
Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Uh-huh.
Top build is Kiefer Sutherland.
Well,
because- yeah, he's
a
because-
guest star in it, kind of a thing.
Okay, I mean,
Actually, he might actually be the voice of him in that one. So
Okay.
it might be he might have to
It's
go
a-
back to the last one.
It's a nutty franchise where the story is all over
Because
the place and stuff.
now
Yeah.
we're in the age where they're actually using voice actors who are Hollywood famous. You know, there's
Right.
like what's his name from Lost, from
No.
Drive Shaft. What's his
Oh
name?
yeah, guy from Hobbit.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
right,
oh,
right.
who-
He's-
hang on, David Hayter.
Okay.
Yeah, David Hayter. So
I mean, he's I recognize him. I don't really see him as like an action hero.
okay, but the point is though, you get him involved in some way anyway because he's a writer. He's written. So I think he's written some sci-fi.
He co-wrote X-Men 2 and Watchmen.
Fuck him.
Yeah, I've seen his name.
Watchmen
actually.
is actually.
He is one of Bryan Singer's boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they got a
So-
writer for this already.
So who? So all right. Well, Metal Gear Solid. All right, they're moving forward with it. But to answer the question of,
It's an
like,
espionage movie.
yeah,
It's basically going to be like Captain America, Civil War. Was that?
sure, sure. But to answer the question of, what I was gonna say is to answer the question of like, is this gonna be the one to make or break video game movies?
Yeah.
Like who knows? But I think the next big hope is probably gonna be.
Sequel to Assassin's Creed.
The Tomb Raider movie.
The Tomb Raider movies that's coming up.
that
and
actually with
is the literal
With,
next
Drake.
big hope. But Drake is what I was trying to think of, right? Drake.
Uncharted.
Uncharted. Right.
As I
Right.
told Ed,
That's got what's his name? The kid from Spider-Man.
Right. right.
I make the case for Resident Evil Apocalypse. I
Yeah,
think that's
oh,
a
yeah.
really good.
Okay, it may
They're
be a
good
good
movies.
It may be a good movie, but I mean, that's like the only big franchise.
I think it's still like has.
know
No,
what
I'm
it is?
talking
You know what it
just the second film.
Well, I think
Okay.
Ed's point was about transcending the stigma of a
Yeah.
video game movie.
But you know
Like,
what
I
it is?
think because it's a genre heavy, that it still suffers from that. Like it'll never be able to come out from under that shadow. People always say video game, like no one ever says the movie that like how people talk about Dark Knight kind of breaks the comic books stereotype a little bit, or Civil War, or I think that's where Ed's coming from. When people start taking it like a little more seriously as a material source, like
Oh, all right.
But moving right along. Speaking of adaptions and shit,
What else we got?
Mark Miller is teasing that there might be more Kick-Ass coming, and the reason to kind of keep an eye on this, like I don't know, who, I think Jay put this in. I think the reason to keep an eye on this is for a few reasons. First is that like, which way does he mean? Because it's a vague kind of statement. Does he mean a new comic book series, a new show, or a new movie? Because he's got a Netflix deal now,
Yep.
where he sold off like his entire fucking catalog that's not already locked down to Netflix, and Netflix is going to have like a stamp on his comics now and all this stuff, which is interesting because he's got a lot of great concept stuff and a lot of great like short run series to kind of adapt.
I'm so pumped for some of this shit.
And so
Well, the tweet has a picture of the film.
right. He's got so that makes everybody leaning towards that.
That it's Kick-Ass 3.
He's like, oh, right, this brilliance won't write itself. Time to help get a press release together for the big Kick-Ass and Hit Girl news next week. And
Yeah.
this was on the
Oh,
9th.
so maybe it's a Hit Girl solo.
Well,
movie.
It could very well
they
be.
got to have what's her name, Chloe, as Hit Girl, right?
Yeah. I would think they would both be back if something was moving forward in that regard.
Yeah.
Because there is like a third. I think there is like one more that's like not
so
adapted.
There were there were two.
Miniseries.
There were two. No, there were three Kick-Ass miniseries.
Comics, right?
Yeah, and there was one Hit Girl solo
Okay.
that took place between 2 and 3.
Gotcha.
Um,
And they've only got the two
Yeah.
Kick-Ass movies.
now I love the first Kick-Ass movie. I actually
too.
think
Absolutely.
I actually think the movie's better than the graphic novel.
Right.
Mark Miller got into a lot of his shock value stuff.
There's a lot of
in
like
the-
over
in
the
this-
top gore in the action sequences
Yeah.
in the comic.
and also
And like since like she really looks like she's actually she's supposed to be like 9 or 10. She's drawn like she's like 6 or 7. Like
Yeah.
she's so small, killing everybody that it's
Right.
even more over the top in the
Yeah.
comic. You know, he leans towards that.
Well, I wasn't even talking that. I was talking
okay.
more like the Red Mist storyline in the second one. But I mean, I don't know. The second movie was lackluster. You definitely felt the loss of Matthew Vaughn because he did not direct that movie.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting, but it was not up to par. So I didn't read the third graphic novel, so
Now,
I'm not as
personally-
excited for this. But
Right. Personally, I'm not that crazy for it. I mean, I like that stuff. It's all right. But I'm much more excited or interested in his other stuff, which is going to be developed, I guess, slowly down the pike. And, like, stuff that if people are looking for good graphic novels to go pick up that are kind of like one and done a little bit, or there's only like a couple in the run, but you want to have a fun jump into a story. Chrononauts is a great one.
Starlight. That's one of them.
Starlight is great.
Yeah.
But a lot of his stuff, because it's just like he's got a pitch, he's got an idea. It's like
Chrononauts is definitely going to be done.
and Chrononauts is one that's like these guys are jumping around through time,
Yeah.
and like it's that kind of a thing, and they're fucking with it, but they're fucking with it in a way like you could only do, like in my head, like
In a comic? Yeah.
in a comic or like a multi-million-dollar movie. And if it's going to come to Netflix, hey, maybe they'll just kind of like develop some of these things as series and some of these things as movies.
Yeah.
And if I get Chrononauts as a movie and not as a series, I'm cool with that
Yeah.
because I feel like they'll go
Yeah.
crazier with it. A series would have to be kind of reserved.
Yeah.
Then let me ask you something.
Agreed.
If they make the Starlight movie, who gets that gig?
I don't know.
Do you think is Kurt Russell big enough to play that part?
Is he old enough?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a thing.
But Kurt Russell's good.
No, Anthony
play-
Hopkins, no?
Anthony Hopkins, if he just had less gravitas or
See,
something,
like,
he needs to be gruff. He needs to be kind of a guy
you
who's
need
like,
someone big.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
need you
Jeff
know,
Bridges.
taller. Like,
Yeah.
but there's nobody like that. You know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah, you
fucking
need that. Like,
Perlman.
the
Perlman.
physicality of the guy is kind of like Tubbs from. I'm giving Bob a touchdown here. Tubbs from Southern Bastards, like in the
Okay.
first run, like this big, tall guy, broad-shouldered.
Right.
You know, it's like Flash. It's a Flash Gordon analogy. The book Starlight, where like Flash Gordon, has this great adventure, comes back to Earth, but slowly over time, no one believes him, and all this shit, and then they need him to come back.
I've read some of it.
Give it to Ron Perlman, man.
Ron Perlman's got the physicality
There you
for it,
go.
and just hammy enough
go.
to kind of make that
Or
work.
give it to David Harbour from fucking Stranger Things.
Yeah.
nah, look at Dom.
Harbor's true, but Dom's got it. Dom's got
Ron
it.
Perlman, okay, that's a good one.
Perfect age, everything.
Very
wow.
good. Well done. Dom gets a point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I
And
think
he's
we're
got
on
the
to the
jawline of a friggin'
Mack truck.
yeah.
And then I think we got a couple more in here. We got, what do we got? Jessica Chastain is keen on It Chapter 2 if anybody wants to put her in it.
Oh, you know what that means? She's not going to be in it. Chapter 2.
She probably won't be. In the end, it's just how that...
No,
usually
actually,
look-
if you read the story, it's kind of likely. The guy that directed it directed a horror movie with her.
Okay, so they have some background. Okay.
And she was interviewed and said that she respects that director. She likes that movie. And if
Hey.
she's asked... But
She's all over it, right?
She's
right,
all
right.
over it. So
For Beverly.
Well, you as an actor,
Sure.
you
Yeah, Beverly.
anyone would want to be working on the sequel to that movie because that's a phenomenal movie.
like normally I would agree with what you said before.
Yeah, because like if an actor's come down and saying I would like to play that part, that means that they're not in talks and they probably won't ever be.
No,
Right. If the quote was
right.
just straight
Yeah.
like that, kind of, I
Like,
get it.
what's
But
his
what,
name?
but what Jay's describing sounds
It's
like it's all-
two quotes
Like
from
what's
the
his
director.
name for cable? Steve Lang.
Right.
But it was two quotes, the director and her.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
fair.
Both said that
okay.
we would love to.
Okay, so that all right. Well, that's if there's a follow back
yeah,
comment from the director saying, yeah, that's
Yeah.
we'll talk, then it's
yeah.
on.
So the quote here from Andy Muschietti is Jessica is an amazing actress and a very good friend, and I would love her to play Beverly. She loves the movie, and it feels like the planets are aligned in that sense. But we still have to make that happen. There are a lot of ideas for the rest of the cast that I'm playing with, but it's a bit too premature to say those names right now.
Sure.
Well,
sure.
okay, so
that's fair.
that's
all
different.
fair.
That's different.
All right.
And we're going to close with Ed's.
A little bit of update on the Shazam, the Shazam movie.
He saved.
Oh, what's his name was caught taking steroids?
Yeah, Zach Levi.
Trying to get jacked for the role.
Yeah.
He's trying.
I'm up for it.
HGH.
We'll see. Asher Angel
Okay.
has been cast to play Billy Batson in DC's Shazam movie.
Okay, young kid.
Yeah,
Sure.
young kid. I have no idea who he is, what he's been in.
They listed off some Disney show, I think, or something
Yeah,
like that.
I'm looking at him right now, and he looks the part. He looks like Billy Batson, and he looks like he could grow up to be Zachary Levi. So yeah, I'm good.
All right. And Dr. Savannah.
Yes, Mark Strong. I think that's an interesting choice.
Mark Strong, you would know from.
Who you would Mark Strong, you would know from Sherlock Holmes, from Kick-Ass.
He also
from Kingsman. He's the bald guy who plays bad guys and everything.
Oh, okay.
he played.
Perfect. He's the bold guy who plays bad guys and everything. I know exactly who you
He
mean.
played Sinestro in.
Okay.
Yes.
in,
Yeah.
Yes.
Green Lantern.
So he does have DC experience before.
He's got DC
Yeah,
experience.
I mean the thing with this
wanna call it
is
that.
Dr. Savannah. I mean, this is from he was Captain Marvel's original villain in the 40s, and this is a very very campy kooky character.
Right.
A guy with he's a bald guy with glasses and the white.
He might as
suit.
well be talking like this.
Yes, yeah. It's very much in that vein. So
One hand is always occupied because he's twirling the mustache.
yeah, I'll
Curses!
I doubt they'll go in that direction. But
I'll get you, Captain Marvel.
While one hand's on the keyboard going. Doing that classic.
This is the same thing we went through with Lex Luthor on Batman vs Superman, where they're going to go through all of the bald guys who play bad guys before they get to the guys who are willing to shave their heads. So Mark Strong, if he ends up getting the part, that's great. But I'm not going to expect him to end up getting it. So we'll see.
That's all she wrote.
Okay, so producer update on whether or not irregardless is a word, because I slipped that in there at 100 miles a second. Kind of, and that's that. Because if I read this whole paragraph, it says, yeah, it's kind of like not really a word, but people use it, but just use regardless instead, because it doesn't really mean anything. Like you're just putting another. Like regardless is already means what irregardless would mean. Right. So just use regardless. You know? Mm-hmm. Regardless of whatever you think, irregardless is not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where a chance where you've got to go with a collegiate dictionary as opposed to a standard dictionary.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. What?
There's no English here. Oh, it's just math? Oh, okay, fine, fair.
Actually, since regardless is kind of a negative, wouldn't irregardless be a double negative, making it a positive?
It would.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not doing what you think it's doing.
Right.
Again, just use regardless.
Guess, right.
How many American tacos are in irregardless?
Right. Yeah. So what's 100% of 5 American tacos?
Irregardless.
4.
All right, so let's move it on to the meanwhile stuff. Let's get all deep.
Meanwhile,
let's get heavy into it, folks. The meanwhile section is kind of like where we talk about some stuff we've seen during the last week, movies, TV, whatnot, stuff we want to kind of like either review or share or recommend. I finally saw Wheelman on Netflix.
Okay.
That's with Frank Rizzo. All right, ZZO.
Frankie Rizzo.
Frank Rizzo.
He made it to the fucking big leagues.
All right, ZZO. No, Frank.
Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo. I always think Frank Rizzo in my head. I never.
Crossbones in.
No.
In the Marvel
I
universe.
was just busting chops because Frank Rizzo sounds like a fucking neighbor.
Yeah.
Kid from the fucking neighborhood. Frank Rizzo.
Rumor
I
is
think I went to school with a Frank Rizzo.
Yeah, it's a jerky boy staple.
Rumor is he's really pissed he didn't get the Punisher gig.
Well, rumor is he should have not been Crossbones then.
Yeah.
That's what that goes.
Mm-hmm. Now that you say that, I'm fully convinced that he lives in the shadow of John Bernthal.
Yeah,
because like he's literally
those
John
guys have probably
Bernthal.
been nothing.
He's like the fucking Costco version of John Bernthal.
Ouch.
But you know, to
He's like
Grillo,
the supermarket
Ouch,
store.
like the Walmart version.
but to Grillo's credit, he is a solid guy. You would
Absolutely.
put in a,
Absolutely.
in
It probably
movies.
came down to the two of them in a way, where like
Maybe.
what's the short list for Punisher anyway? If you're getting like real faithful, both of those guys would have came on that list. You know what I mean? I think at the time, but like Grillo's probably
Bernthal's
involved.
is such a good actor.
He's-
I just don't see it in Grillo.
I don't think Grillo's got the exposure where like you could see like the range
Wolf,
maybe a little bit.
Like, could you see him pulling off that role in Wolf of Wall Street? Fuck no. That crazy psycho.
No,
I would
Jew
see
guy.
I could see a different flavor of it though. I could see him doing something fun with a different flavor.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Like the little bits of his personality I've seen on Grillo, like I want to see more. And like that's what's good about Wheelman in a way. He gets to not like really spread his wings necessarily,
You get to stretch a little bit.
but he does get to stretch a little bit. You get to see him kind of like, like in a movie where you are literally locked with him and only him for almost this entire movie, where you are like basically like in the car with him and like. When he leaves the car, you stay in the car kind of movie. Like, you get to see a lot of fucking shades of his skill set. And I'd say it's like really worth it. It's on Netflix. And he plays a getaway driver where, it's a classic kind of setup. Everything goes wrong. But he really shines in it. Like, it's pretty good. It's good script. I mean, yeah, anybody could have probably pulled it off in a way. But, like, it was really good. It's worth your time.
Cool.
Cool.
And just real quick, I had some time off, so I caught up on a couple other things. If you haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, which is the Taika Waititi, the director of Thor. This is one of the things that he did that kind of got him notoriety back in New Zealand. It's a mockumentary about vampires. It's really fucking funny. I just recommend it. It's on Prime. And then I finally saw Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Which was good. And I didn't realize what's his name. I forgot like even who was going to be in it. I hadn't seen any promos for it in so long, so I forgot who plays like the millionaire.
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. He's buried under this big beard where it's like, who's that? Is that Oscar Isaac? I'm like, yeah, it's got to be Oscar Isaac. But
It's actually 2 guys from Force Awakens.
that's true. That's
Hux
true.
is in there too.
Yeah,
Donald
yeah.
Gleason.
Yeah. Who
And Laura Croft is in there too.
Is that who she is? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
cute. She's so
Alicia
cute.
Vikander.
Oh my God, she's too cute.
Yeah.
I've never wanted really to do a robot in a movie.
But definitely really fantastic sci-fi.
Oh, it's great stuff. It's great stuff too, because you kind of feel where it's going, and it does go there, but like the ride there is different.
Such a beautiful movie. Like,
Yeah.
really makes you think about life.
Yeah,
Really does.
really does.
Has a Stanley Kubrick feel
As in,
to
like, what is life, kind of a thing. And it gets deep, just deep enough too. It doesn't get like preachy or anything, but it's cool.
No.
It's cool. It's very well done. If you still haven't seen that, you're looking for something to watch. That's my thing. Dom.
Yeah, so I've had time to watch this documentary on Netflix. It's a movie documentary. It's called Icarus.
Okay, I've seen this in the listing. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is about filmmaker who was into cycling his whole life, wanted to go pro but just didn't really make it. Wanted? Did you see this, Ed?
No, I haven't.
The movement you just made me think so. But so he wants to make a documentary about doping within cycling and like focus on Lance Armstrong and like that whole thing, right? So like halfway through it, he realizes that Palmer, so Icarus, cool. He realizes that there's a bigger scandal to make a film about, make a documentary about, and that's the state-sponsored doping program that was going on within Russia within the past few decades. So I won't give it too away, but like Palmer says in the chat, it was a really compelling anti-doping documentary.
How does it compare to Tour de Pharmacy?
It's the most compelling to me. Yeah.
I love it when docs like they find something else and the plan shifts.
So, dude, like not to ruin it really, but this guy, like, he ends up like getting in touch with the dude that was like running the show in Russia.
Okay.
And bringing him to the United States and like giving him asylum basically, like, and he just escapes, this guy.
Oh wow.
And he helps him. He helps the director of the documentary dope himself, and see how he can do while he's on dope.
Oh wow.
He does a marathon, so
clean,
and then he
right,
does
right.
a marathon dope the fuck up from this guy that was doing the Russian doping program.
Oh shit.
And
it covers a lot of bases, this doc.
yeah,
I like that.
Kind of crazy. Wow. Even if you're not into sports, it's a really, really compelling fucking documentary.
Gotta check it out.
Yeah, really awesome. Icarus.
Yeah, I kept on hearing about it too.
It reminds me of a skit they did on Saturday Night Live, and where they just did the Olympics. Everybody was doping.
Everybody was jacked up. At this point, fuck it, right?
And
and they did the deadlifting.
Okay, and then
the arms came off.
And this film will make you think that just everybody's
doped up.
every Olympic athlete in the past like 30 years.
Yeah.
Basically, no matter what country.
No matter what country, and because there's all different kinds of doping up and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll go with Jay. How about Jay? Jay,
Yeah.
what's this freaking Geostorm?
Do I gotta be fucking worried over here? What's
A
coming?
film better than Suburbicon. And if you would have told me,
It's not saying much. Jay. We went over this last week.
but the bit is this: if you would have told me that Geostorm was going to be a better film than Suburbicon in the beginning of this year, I would have
you
laughed
would-
in your face.
Sure,
hell yeah.
right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Geostorm is decent.
Geostorm is actually it's
You know what I would have said if you told me that? I would have said Suburbicon's gonna suck.
because actually Geostorm is just like shitty fun. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right,
it's
right.
shitty fun because of Gerard Butler. He's a good actor. He's a good, like, solid guy. And just it looks like there's people just having, Independence Day kind of fun.
Right.
So it knows what it is.
It knows what it is, and that's why this is a very, very, very light cash.
So, but it's not at the Sharknado level of being hammy. Though,
No,
right?
I mean it's ridiculous, but then there's some fun plot points in it, and it looks like they're just having some popcorn fun, and that's exactly what it sets out to be.
So it's the sci-fi White House Down.
Yeah, kind of. Yes, that is absolutely.
Okay, well that's a better way of selling it than the commercials. Probably
Kinda.
were.
My fucking analogies are A1
You were
tonight.
fucking
bitch.
rocking it.
Well, you know what?
You're getting bonus points.
The one really campy trailer that they put out
Yeah.
does not do that film justice.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling because I saw they put out a lot of trailers for it actually during the process, and they put out a trailer like the first trailer they put out doesn't even show you like anybody who's in it. So later on, like when they start showing who's the lead in that?
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler. I was like, well, they just get him to sign on like last week or something, and they're just kind of slapping. But you know, the point being that like, okay, you got Gerard Butler. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just having some fun, harmless fun. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
I kind of want to see this because I love Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
I can never think of the name of the movie, but every time it's on, I gotta watch it. That movie when he's like the serial killer and he escapes from prison a bunch of times.
Law-abiding citizen. Yeah,
Right.
that's real good too.
Great film. Anybody who hasn't seen that, watch it.
Watch Machine Gun Preacher.
I've seen that too. Yeah. Yeah, it's
He's
fucking
really
amazing.
good in that.
All right, so you both saw Orient Express. We'll jump to Ed for Last Flag Flying, and then we'll go back to Jay to start at Orient
Sure.
Express.
Oh well, okay. Well, actually,
Oh, what? Did you have another plan?
no. All right. So I could talk about Last Flag Flying because I had one other thing I just was going to call an audible, because I know you guys saw it. But I'll talk about Last Flag Flying. I saw that last night. It's a movie of Bryan Cranston, Steve Carell, Lawrence Fishburne. Steve Carell. It's a semi-sequel to Last Detail,
Right.
Jack Nicholson movie from the 70s. Steve Carell plays this guy who's ex-Vietnam veteran whose son was a Marine, died in Iraq, and he gets together with his two buddies from when he was in the Corps in Nam to get the body back.
Right.
And,
Right. It's good fun.
Yeah,
It's good fun.
Yeah, but some really good performance. Bryan Cranston has the worst New York accent you're ever going to hear.
Okay.
And a lot of his dialogue is just so absurd. He's just basically cracking wise the whole movie. But Cranston just has so much.
He's that guy in the
So
movie.
don't watch the fucking thing if you're from New York.
But no.
Ed's not really from New York, so
That's what we realized. He's like Central America.
yeah.
You mean Midwest? I think that's what you're trying to say.
No.
I'm not from Panama.
No, I didn't mean Panama either. I just meant Central USA, like
Yeah.
Central America.
Midwest.
Yeah, like Denver.
Midwest is not a.
Because when
it
you
doesn't
say
count.
Central
Central
America,
America's a continent.
I know,
Yeah.
I
Not a
know.
continent, but
You're from Casper, Wyoming.
yeah.
Success. That's all that matters right now.
Yeah, no. But Cranston has, it's a lot of fun to watch him in this part. And Carell has a very moving performance in this, and Fishburne turns in solid work all around. It's the kind of thing, this is a lot like hanging out with my uncles.
That's what it sounds like.
Just hearing them tell old stories.
Yeah.
It's
Looking forward to that. But not getting drunk
yeah.
and talking real negative about anybody who's not white and male.
Oh no.
Like that's what's missing from this one.
Oh no, there's a little bit of that.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
because Cranston's the alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Someone's got to be the dick, right?
Yeah.
So
and
that's it.
and Fishburne's this reform. He's a preacher now, so they're constantly clashing.
Gotcha.
And Steve Carell is this guy who's lost his wife and his son, and these are his only friends in the world now. So he's trying to filter through them what to do about the situation. So this I really enjoyed. I don't know if it's for everybody, but it's a cash for me.
Cash.
Directed by Richard Linklater.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
One thing though, if Cranston's playing the Nicholson character, and you said he says some ridiculous dialogue, so did Jack Nicholson in The Last Detail.
Oh, yeah.
Except you're talking about early fucking Nicholson here, who
Yeah.
could have just he can act his way through a fucking concrete fucking building, man.
Right.
Yeah, and Cranston's no slouch.
No, he's not. But from what you're telling me, like the heavy New York accent,
That's what he's trying. What Jay's saying is that's where he's pulling from. You know, he's
probably.
pointing that out. That's actually what he's
we're trying to
pulling
mirror
from.
that.
But Murder on the Orient Express. Should I care?
Yeah, you should, because there's a really incredible Branagh performance in it.
Yeah,
And an incredible, even more incredible, fucking mustache.
Right. So
Which
that's-
I'm going to do.
Okay, listen. Like I support you fully in that. There's not many things I'll support you in, Jay. But that's one.
Maybe you should check with Benicio first.
No, what I'm going to do.
yeah, and what's funny is this is a very different Hercule Poirot mustache.
Wow.
Usually
Gesundheit.
you got the handlebar and everything else. He has that, but he like stretches out and it's bushier.
And it's trimmed. It's trimmed
Yeah.
like with some curvature. There's some work going on there. There's some maintenance.
What I'm saying is that I got something I got to do in mid-December.
But after that,
I'm
it's over.
going for it.
I got you. Just in time for the summer.
Because I got to do it.
I got you.
But yeah, this was actually a decent movie.
Right.
Brana bringing his fucking A game.
Sure.
As I mean the reason why I like this a lot was because of him and his performance.
Gotcha.
And he's surrounded by a lot of A-listers. I mean, Josh Gad was actually very good in it too. I have to say. And he's usually a guy you see as like that guy from Pixels. Or that other thing. Where he's from Frozen. Yeah.
But he made his bones being a character actor a little bit.
Right.
Like comedic, sure, but like definitely kind of like blending in and being like I've been kind of expecting him to kind of do something a little bit more middle ground.
Right. And what I'm saying is like I was surprised by him with these A-list people.
Right.
And measuring them, because he was very, very good in it. And it's nothing spectacular, although there's some spectacular cinematography in it. But I really bought the whole 1930s, who done it on a train bit. But Brana is the reason why
you see this
that I stayed with it.
Gotcha.
Because his performance is just fucking solid.
Yeah. This movie is Kenneth Branagh. Whenever he directs, it's always serviceable.
Right.
It's always like there's a bar. It's never going to be terrible. It's always going to be good. It's not going to like jump into that upper echelon. But there's some fancy stuff that he does in here. His performance is great. You've got an amazing cast: Willem Dafoe, Johnny Depp, Judi Dench, Daisy Ridley. Michelle Pfeiffer, on and on and on with that list.
That's it?
Yeah,
No, I'm like
yeah, and it's this kind of thing. This is a classic story. Albert Finney did a version of this in the 70s. This is a well-known Agatha Christie story. But
it's Agatha Christie Brinkley, right?
Yeah. But
Gotcha.
he still makes it engaging and interesting. I'm not as high on it as Jay, but it is still a cash for me.
Right. It's a regular cash for me, but I think that Brana is the one that pushes it into being good. And it's a good shine for Daisy Ridley as well.
Sure.
You want to go see it tomorrow, Bill?
Nah.
Nah?
How's Johnny Depp?
Great.
He's still not playing a
human?
a human being, but he's close. This is like the closest he's come in like 15 years.
I love it.
He plays a mobster. He plays,
He was fine. I thought he was fine.
But he was good. He was good. Didn't do the heavy makeup job or anything.
Right.
else.
I saw him in it. I know that he's playing somebody reasonable.
He looks like a real person. He isn't quite a real person yet, but he looks like one. He's
but
making
that's because
that
it's
step.
Johnny. But that's because it's Johnny. I got you. There's still some plastic.
No, it was a good role for him too,
Yeah.
for what it was. I mean, it's basically centered around him.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like Black Mass if he took off the makeup and you're
Okay. And roll the clock back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's 19 whatever. So it's cash.
Yeah.
Cash is.
One other thing I wanted to talk about because it's been going on, and I know at least you and Bob have seen it. It was this week's episode of Mr. Robot.
Okay, we can cover it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This
It's not get too spoiler heavy, I don't think. But
Bob's fucking antenna just went up.
he's
Yeah,
like, "Yo."
but the thing is, this was commercial free. They did 45 minutes straight, and it's the kind of thing where it's it looks like one long continuous take.
Right.
And we won't get into plot spoilers, but I thought the way that was technically, I thought that was amazing.
It was. I think the thing that was great about it was really just a network saying, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." Just because that's a rare thing that they're like, "This is our bread and butter show right now." So
it was a smart thing for them to do because you got to show some a bit of an avant-garde flair.
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
These days, because there's so much going on.
And this is a show that does that stuff.
Yeah.
This is a show that kind of likes to play with camera and do some things that are different. So
breaks the fourth wall, all that stuff.
And just kind of weird camera setups and So the fact that it was coming up as an idea to do, like obviously it's a solid move, and they did it great because the story.
Oh yeah, the story was laid out, and it felt like it was a real-time episode, basically.
Yeah, just kind of following it, and the pressure's on. It's a ticking clock story, so it all leads into the tension. And
and Elliot is he's got a fucked up mindset, and the whole thing plays with his mind and point of view of the world. And I think this gets you a little closer to see what it's like to be in his head.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
It's another aspect of it, and at the very least, it brings home just the fact that they did the camera tracking stuff on a story like this helps bring home the weight of it, because I don't know if done some other way, it would just kind of feel like, oh, this is exactly what I was expecting at about this point in the story anyway. Like we knew that we were coming to this. This makes the moment have an extra weight to it and an extra specialness to it. It's a highlight of the season. You know what I mean? And it was really well done. And it's almost I think it's enough of an episode where if you were to just kind of like, hey, watch this. I know you haven't watched the show. Like, it's so far out and you're so removed from what the hell is actually going on that you could watch that episode and just kind of get bit by the bug for the show and be like, wow, I got to figure out what the context is for all this shit I don't understand. But this is like a really cool, like on a technical level kind of episode. But yeah, it was standout stuff.
Cool.
I'd love to get into Mr. Robot even more, but it's such a show that when you start to break it down and dissect it, it's all giving away stuff. It's all spoiler.
And you have to go deep just to explain what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a different. I can only imagine what a Mr. Robot podcast sounds like. I should probably take a look once in a while, just check
it's like,
one out.
okay, this is the when they talk about they do a review of an episode. It's like, okay, here's the spoiler-free part. Okay, spoilers now.
Yeah, right, but they don't even do it. They don't even do it.
No.
What were you gonna say, D?
No, I was just gonna say before we transition into the chat game, I'm looking at the calendar over here, and Justice League comes out in a week.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This is
gotta
the
light it.
thing.
We're gonna light them on fire.
All right.
No, later.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
All
Son
right.
of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
I've
right in front of you.
I've been looking forward
That's what they do.
to this movie
Yes.
pretty
Since-
much my entire existence.
Yeah, right.
And,
As a fetus, even.
It's changed directors.
Right.
There's a lot going on.
Have you seen some of the pre-reviews coming out?
No, I'm staying away from all that.
because the initial embargo is lifted, so now the reviews are dripping out.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I've actually been hearing some things,
Yeah.
some
Just-
comments,
Just
Marvel-esque comments.
Just tell me
What?
it's gonna be okay, right?
Yeah, we've been telling you it's going to be okay.
This is gonna be good.
I don't know if I can tell you that.
I didn't say
Ed.
I can't tell you if it's going to be good.
What?
That's subjective. I'm telling you it's all going to be okay. That's the thing you tell somebody when they're ready to
Yeah.
jump off the roof.
Ed,
It's
up until
all gonna
this
be
point
okay.
with DC movies, have you felt that they've been kind of going on an upswing? Even if they haven't become actually good yet, that there's been some positive growth and
Wonder
forward
Woman-
momentum.
Right. When you pull back
I'm
on
asking
the
you a
graph,
question. I'm asking you a question. Do you feel that? Yes or no?
Well, the last movie, yes.
Okay.
The
So
last movie,
yes. So at this point, there's
But-
positive momentum.
Yeah.
Just go with that
Yeah.
and enjoy that.
They wouldn't do that to me. They wouldn't.
What, shit in your mouth? It's a Hollywood studio.
Ed, get over
Right.
it, man.
Half the time. Half the
we had-
time.
We had a disappointing Superman Batman movie. We had an almost good Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, think about how almost good that
and
was.
then that led to a very good Wonder Woman movie, a record-setting movie. So I say just take that positive growth and take that wave and ride with it into the theater
right.
next week.
All right.
Yeah, I just think you gotta let your guard down, man. I really do. I think you're just being crazy about it, all right? You really just gotta let the movie in. Just let it be, all right?
All
And that's coming from Mickey Mouse.
That's-
So
yeah.
That's Rick.
Yeah.
That's Rick.
And I think
I mean,
actually,
that's Morty. I'm
if
Morty.
maybe there's a
more like
side
Mickey
story
Mouse
in
at
this
this
one
point.
with Mickey Mouse here now. Maybe you,
Morty.
if it's a bad movie, maybe you start a
Morty
campaign,
Mouse.
have Disney buy DC from Warner.
Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, one day,
It's
Disney's just going to own it all. So why? So as the conglomerate goes and swallows up everything else. I mean, they almost swallowed Fox this week. So there was that. Thank God that fucking
Could you
fizzled out.
imagine? Could you fucking imagine if
Why-
that's
why
how they
would
got?
that-
Just relax
Why
and
would-
enjoy yourself, man.
Why
It's
would have
gonna
that
be
been a bad
fine.
thing?
Jay's not leaning into the bit at all.
Yeah.
He's exasperated by your bit.
All right. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
No, it's going to be good. You know it's going to be good.
No,
All
it's
right?
not. He's for real.
No, I know there's like a 40%. Like that's why he's bringing it up.
More like 70%.
What is this?
More like 70%.
But the 30 is pretty thick. The ham, the act is a little 30% is pretty substantial.
It's hammy, but you know.
Yeah.
But Man of Steel was great.
You know, that's coming from the Man of Steel books. You know
Man of Steel books, baby.
ManofSteelBooks.com coming soon.
All right.
Site under construction.
All right. You want to get into this chat game?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So the hashtag was sci-fi menu items.
Ooh, I like it.
And all right, so let's jump right. Not a lot here.
Okay, but we got a couple.
Yeah, we go. So we got Obi-Wonton soup.
I like it.
There you go.
Nice.
Ring it.
Galactica gelato. Blue Russian. E.T. extra toast. Tatooine teriyaki. A lot of alliteration in here.
I like it.
Valerian vodka.
Okay.
Deep fried akbar.
I might
There you
have
go.
some
I
of
like
that
that one.
myself.
Windu kebab.
It's an app.
It's a crap.
Spicy facehugger roll.
That's good.
Padawan ribs. Dagobah sampler. Alderaan apple crumble. Bantha whites.
Well, I get it crumbled because it explodes and it's all rubble. I got you.
Bantha bites.
Bantha bites.
Borg Wellington. Roasted xenomorph nuts. Cylon con carne.
Okay.
Demigog pudding. Oh, Demidog pudding.
That's just the dough's got the runs.
Jawa juice. Rancor ragu.
Okay.
And Bantha bourguignon.
Bourguignon. Oh, bourguignon.
All right.
I want porg pockets. How about those?
Borg pockets.
Porgs. Those little cute little things that are now Furbies on Star Wars now that are coming.
Oh, triple bites.
Ah, there you go.
It's the hair.
Triple Tito's.
Triple nuggets.
Very good, gentlemen.
Salute. All right, well, that's done. Well, it's that time.
Do we have any?
The old PvP?
No. Oh, okay.
'Cause that's where we're at, actually.
All right,
in the
let's
dock.
do it,
Let's
man.
do it. We're going to do it? All right.
Are you people insane?
Uh-oh.
I'm the director. I make the casting decisions around here.
So since
thought this was a group effort.
No.
No. So, if you might remember, if you listened to the recent episode, we decided to bring back Pitch versus Pitch, and the title of that was given out at that time was The Drop from Dom Torrey.
Thank you.
And
now I can't participate, right? Because I made the title.
I don't think
That's been the rule.
Yeah, that's
pretty
the rule.
hard.
The person who came up with the title
Is
chooses the winner.
because
Yeah.
he's like the studio exec saying, "Hey, go write me a script,"
Right.
and that's the bit.
Right.
Yeah. Now you realize you're gonna have to change the title of this movie because it was a good Tom Hardy, James Gandolfini movie.
Yeah, The Drop was Gandolfini's last movie.
Hey, whatever.
No, they should have changed
That's
the
why
name
he's
right after the
fucking
drop
dead.
dead.
So what would The Drop 2 be?
Yeah, yeah. Any mob movie set in a bar where they're
Well,
out.
All right, well,
It's a working title. So it's a working title. And we probably, after it's all said and done, we probably could find better titles. I would say even for mine. Coming out at the end of it, it's probably like a better title for it.
Good.
But
That's good.
I will say that it's me, Ed, and Bob on this one. I know Jay really didn't have it. I'm not giving you any shit. What I am saying is that like you and Dom can kind of, if you need help, picking the winner.
Okay.
You know,
Uncle
at the very
Jay,
least, the
Sorry,
Jay's sounding
I'll
board.
give you shit. Just fake it.
Uncle Jay has been exploring his horizons
That's
lately
right.
with some
Some
added activities that
true.
prevented me from participating.
Extracurricular, even.
Extracurricular activities.
What, you ran out of Jergens?
Exactly. I'm on to Kerry Lotion now.
And they discontinued my favorite brand, so it's a whole thing. Oh my God. Dueling faps. Dueling faps on
It's a
the
fap
leaving.
attack.
I'm leaving.
However, I
Stereo
can.
fap attack.
We were caught in the crossfire.
I could try to wing it,
I
but
have PTSD. now.
again, it's better because you guys brought your A game. So.
All right, and we can just kind of let's rock and roll.
All right, well, show me what you fucking got.
all right, who wants to
motherfuckers.
go first?
I'll go.
All right,
I'm
Ed,
in.
jump into
I'm
it.
in this.
Jump,
All right.
go for it.
The Drop.
All right.
The Drop. This is a man drops a cup of coffee
Uh-oh.
and sets into motion a series of events that lead him to being sacrificed by natives to their moon god and taken by aliens to represent the human race in a symposium on good manners. All right?
All right.
This movie's directed by Martin Campbell.
Okay.
You know from GoldenEye, Casino Royale,
Right, I do
Mark
now.
Zorro, The
Sure.
Foreigner.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this already sounds like a video that's shown to people who are starting their first day at McDonald's, like a how to wash your hands video.
This sounds like a fucking like really sad, compelling like Pixar Disney short film. Like,
Starring Pierce Brosnan.
yeah.
No. All right, so
Continue.
the guy, and now I just cast 4 parts.
Okay.
And you're gonna have to figure out where they fit into this.
I'm wondering how the story
but-
even unfolds with that
so,
setup. But
so the
it's not
guy
my-
who
it's not my
drops
judgment.
the guy
Go
who
ahead.
drops the cup of coffee,
Right.
is played by Ben Stiller.
Okay. Makes sense.
Tracy Morgan plays his psychiatrist.
Gotcha. Of course.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But tell me how you're feeling, though.
Julianne Moore
Right.
plays his hairdresser.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, she plays a hairdresser.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Yeah. And Tilda Swinton plays President Ronald Reagan.
I believe it. I love it. It's an era piece.
Yeah.
It's got a certain kind of 80s nostalgia going on there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right.
So you're looking to get a little attention for the movie from the people who would be upset that a man wasn't cast in that role.
I was kind of like, I'm still stuck on the story setup. Like, how does that unfold? But all right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Bob.
Okay.
If that's all you got, Ed. If you're
That's my pitch.
all right.
All right.
All right. Very good.
Okay, now for my pitch, this movie can be basically whatever you want it to be. Here's why. Okay, it opens up. It's 1940s, very Art Deco looking.
Sure.
Rooftop, nighttime, and there's a big burly dude over. You see him from the back, and he's like this over the top with his arm stretched out over the edge.
Gotcha.
Camera pans around. He's got a guy by the leg, hanging him over the side of the building.
Gotcha.
Turns out he's a Sam Spade-style detective
Right.
that is now being like hung over the
Okay.
side of the building,
Right.
right, for information. When he gives the guy the information, there's this whole exchange that goes on between them to get out of this whole situation.
Gotcha.
Right, that is actually very familiar. I'll get to that in a minute. Doesn't go his way. Guy says a famous line from another movie, "I lied," and drops him.
Okay.
At this point, now this is the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right.
So at this point, the classic thing of your life flashing before your eyes takes place. And what we see
Right.
depends on what kind of movie you want to turn it into. So it could, like the casting would be, in my mind, the guy hanging the guy over the side is an old Arnold Schwarzenegger, basically reprising, or like
Parodying
this an homage to the scene from Commando.
Is this
Where
like the
he- where
video
he
that
drops the guy.
plays? Is this like the video that plays in the fucking in the lobby of like Elon Musk's like fucking headquarters or whatever? What the fuck?
Right. So anyway, I'm
Right,
I'm
right.
just gonna keep going.
No, go.
So like this is gonna be a comedy. I was thinking you could do somebody like Jeff Goldblum. Could be the
Detective type.
who's
Okay.
hanging off the edge, trying to weasel his way out of
Right.
it. Right. And so his life, we might see a chain of events in a very comical way that lead
Right.
up to this point where he's about to die.
I got you.
And at the very end of the movie, we see him die.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So the idea is that the story can be whatever you want, depending on whoever you want to be in the movie. So this is a concept you can just take
And insert something?
and basically make into whatever movie you need to fill out your catalog for that time of year.
All right.
So, but
No, I like the setup on it. Look, because I like the idea of it. Like the bookend on the thing is him being held over the edge, and then you get the flashback of how he ended up there.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And the fact that you see him drop and die, and maybe like the whole thing is like you're waiting to go back to that. 'Cause
Right.
You think maybe he's gonna live, but maybe he doesn't. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? But All right, it's pretty cool.
You know, if you want to make it a Disney,
feels
if you
loose
want to
in
turn
the
into a
middle.
Disney movie, then
Yeah.
you know something happens.
Right, you're
You know,
leaving it up to
a
the
garbage
studio.
truck like pulls up, and he lands in a pile of garbage.
Fair enough.
And miraculously survives an 80-story fall.
But you're leaving it up to the studio to kind of say
Sure.
where they want the actual story to
You
go.
want it to, you need a comedy, I can turn it into a comedy. You want it to be a
Versatile.
You want it to be a
Great sales.
a 40s style
straight up
Sam Spade kind of thing.
yeah, right,
We
noir.
can do that too.
Sure.
You know,
Some
disguise
flexibility
it
in
with
there.
whatever you want.
All right. Anything else on that one before? Anybody?
No, I mean because the casting's open.
Casting's open.
Casting's open to
Very
whatever.
loose. Got a lot of opportunities in that.
It's a very open-ended concept.
So, with that, I guess I'm the last guy.
Yes, sir.
So, Bill, looks like all your movie has to have is a middle, and we're good.
So, well, I got some third. I got no third act. I'll tell you that. Mine's missing some stuff too. So mine is about this kid Charlie, and he's a rich kid. He's turning. he's sold. He's turning 18, and basically, you know, he's like a himbo type. He's not too bright, but he's got like charms and looks. Think like Zach. What's his name from High School Musical?
Efron?
Zac Efron.
Think like a Zac Efron. Or even the kid who plays Peter. Was that? Yeah, Dom would be perfect for
Yeah,
this,
and
actually.
let's be classy. It's not, he's not Zac Efron from High School Musical anymore. He's Zac Efron from Bad Grandpa,
Right, exactly.
from Dirty
Right.
Grandpa.
Right,
Dirty
right,
Grandpa.
right.
Wait, from Baywatch.
Right, right. No, that's
Neighbors.
too.
That's the one. Neighbors.
Yeah, too many abs. Still too many abs.
17 again.
So,
Fantastic film.
top of his list there.
Matthew Perry's finest.
Yeah.
Jay's reacting to that one. He's like, yeah, that is a good one.
No, that wasn't my reaction.
I'm
I don't
guessing,
think I've even seen it.
I'm guessing Jay didn't like 17 again.
I never
I
saw
thought it was fucking great.
I saw 18 again with George Burns when he
George
did one of those body switcheroo films, but that's something else.
You might have been better off seeing 17 again.
So,
Shows our age a little bit.
so this kid's turning 18, and for his birthday, him and his dad are gonna go up to the cabin. You know, but they're filthy, stinking rich. So it's like, even though it's like a hunting and fishing cabin, it's like, you know, the kid doesn't really want to go, but whatever. Like, you know, it's like me and you, buddy. You know, this kind of thing. So, but on the way up, so with Zach, and then I guess with the dad, think like John Hamm.
Nice.
So we're going for a kind of comedy tone here. But dad goes a different way. And so kid notices it and he's like, well, what's going on? And the father tells him the truth. You know, basically that dad
Taking to get neutered.
dad and like, you know, some other guys, they're part of like an Illuminati kind of like not Scientology, but it's like a sect. It's like, you know, this kind of like skull
A secret order.
secret society where they kind of mutually like, you know,
He's a Knights Templar.
basically, you know what I mean? But it's just it's less on the kind of like controlling the world as much as it's like help like each other get successful, and it's a, like, you know, dark network kind of a thing. But it's all super rich, successful, famous people, and this is where like the comedy kind of starts to come in, where like when they get there, you know, because now the kid is being welcomed into the circle, you know. And this is going to open all kinds of doors and opportunities for him. And Dad doesn't give him all the details, but basically it's like a weekend thing. And on the last night, there's a big ceremony to kind of welcome you in. And, you know, we'll tell you more when we get up there and this kind of thing. So now when they get there, it's like a who's who of like rich and powerful people, but it's all cameos. So kind of think of like The End with Seth Rogen and all them, how it's just kind of loaded with people making appearances. So with this, though, it's a little more across the board. It's like, just kind of like see who you can get to agree to be in it kind of a thing for these roles, but I want it to be littered.
We can get Elon and Warren and all those guys.
Right, it's like Bill Gates and like Chris Rock and Kid Rock and like just whoever, like, you know what I mean? But whenever you kind of, he's meeting them, it's always like, wow, this is crazy, but they all kind of have like, oh, like they kind of fawn over him, like, oh man, this is great that you're going to be, oh, this is a really, this is a great decision you're making, this is like, you know, going to change things for you, this is like really important, and they kind of really swoon over him, and they really, really like him, and they're fawning over him a little, like too much, a little bit, like, you know, and they all kind of talk about how, like, you know, the drop changed their life, and if, like, you know, and that's like some of the kind of comedy stuff where it's like, you know, depending on who it is, it's like, I wouldn't have been able to do whatever if it wasn't for this, like, you know, being part of the circle here, and this kind of a thing.
So let me guess. He's basically beef. What's for dinner?
No. That was a consideration. So anyway, he has to kind of do several like ritualistic things over the course of the day before he fucking finds out what's going on. And it gets weirder and weirder for him. And they're like, nah, don't worry about it. It's just tradition. It's no big deal. I know it's crazy, it's silly, but just rub this all over your body. Just don't worry about it. So he can feel something's going on, and then. He basically, eavesdrops and gets the scoop on what the real deal is, and it's basically, he's being prepped to be the vessel for a demon that they all worship, so they can finally communicate with it. And Charlie's gonna die at the end of it, like he won't survive this, And the dad is kind of like being commended for his sacrifice when he overhears all this, so he gets like the download of like, oh shit, this is what's really going on. So it's all like black magic shit, and he's the sacrifice. So now it turns into the thing where like he knows, they find out he knows, and it's like all of them trying to catch him, and like who dies in the process of him trying to get away a bit, and like funny celebrity cameo deaths and this kind of a thing, a little bit of hijinks. And the drop is really that like they were telling him like, oh, this is the drop is. It's just kind of like symbolic thing, this, that, the other thing, but it's really like some kind of like ancient elixir that once he has that and he's completed these other things over the course of the day, it'll like open the vessel, like in the magic and all that. But I think this is where third act falls apart. I think eventually they capture him, and it's gonna be a thing where it's like, oh, it looks like it's gonna happen, and somehow he gets out of it. But just as kind of like it's like a comedic thriller, dark comedy. Romp type thing. So that's my drop. I don't have an ending, but I got that.
Any cast directors?
So director, I think maybe the guy from The Hangover, Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips
would be fun. I feel like he'll be able to kind of bring in those cameos too, but like a star-studded kind of like a goofball effect a little bit.
I'm feeling a Jordan Peele Get Out feel to this.
It could be. Movie. I mean. You could bring it a little bit more serious if you wanted to, too. Like I just kind of feel like something.
Get Out plays that comedy too a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think you've seen
the cult stuff. No, I still haven't seen it, but I know it does kind of play with cultiness a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But
you're missing out on someone who we all just saw recently. His movie, Waika Tahiti.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
Taika Waititi.
This would be right.
Backwards.
Yeah, this would actually be right in that kind of a wheelhouse too for him, or. Like Dan Harmon, any of those kind of guys that are really just kind of like about like letting funny people be funny and finding the funny in the set. But that's the setup anyway. So I think this is the part where we kind of.
So I won, right?
Your thoughts?
Dom's got Jay to kind of break it down with.
Jay, what do you think, man?
The winner gets to choose the title for next week's.
So we have my movie.
Do the rundown.
So, man drops a cup of coffee, and by the end of the movie, ends up being sacrificed by natives and taken by aliens.
Okay.
To a symposium. You have Bob's movie.
To a symposium.
I think that's the sequel to Bill's.
Yeah. You have Bob's movie, where a guy is hung off the ledge of a building and is dropped, and things happen in between him. Being dropped and hitting the ground.
Right, and we learn that in flashback.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is.
Yeah, and
we'll figure it out as we go.
And we have...
But could be literally anything.
It's open.
Yeah, we have Bill's movie about a guy whose dad takes him to an Illuminati meeting and gets buttered up for something.
Sure, there you go. Buttered up for the...
Possibly literally, too.
Depending.
Yeah.
So there are your options. I guess the thinking used to be, which one would you most really kind of want to see?
I'm gonna have to go with Bills, and if Jerry goes with Bills too, then we'll go with that. But if it's someone different, we'll do a little tiebreaker.
You guys could do a breakdown, that kind of a thing. What are you thinking, Jason?
I was thinking actually that yours is, you know what? You need a really a solid third act.
That's what it is.
Because I was like, I'd like to see that movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is too, because normally I'd lead towards Bob because I want to see Arnold do that again. You know what I mean? And the fact is, and it sucks.
Right.
Because
They could just parody that whole part of that scene.
You also whipped out the Goldblum, man, and I'm like, shit.
Right?
You know what I mean? It's like, oh.
Just think about Jeff Goldblum hanging there, and then all of a sudden you see events through his eyes.
I would like to see Goldblum as like
for an hour and a half.
I could see Goldblum as
that's a comedy, or you could turn it into somebody like a little more serious, like Anthony Hopkins, and then it's more like Hannibal Lecter. You know,
it all depends on who you're gonna drop, I guess.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And it's very, 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 very close. But you know, I think that
thank you
with a little restructuring, I think you got it. That's just me, though.
So I'm just sucking wind, huh?
But Bob is like right there. Like I would, you know. Yeah.
Well, also, he turned to me too with the Goldblum because I immediately pictured Goldblum doing the dark noir detective thing,
right?
And it being like this modern day Columbo, where like all the questions that he's asking are weird and just weird.
We did that
Start doing Goldblum. Start doing
Columbo.
But I think it's only because you fleshed it out a little bit more with a lot of meat and potatoes. And if you were at a pitch meeting, I could see this going through a second round of discussion, whereas you know you would be taking notes and you go home and then rewrite your treatment.
And come back
you know what I mean?
Tuesday.
Go Lumbo.
Go Lumbo.
But in the same breath, I also like if I was in the pitch meeting, I would say let's give these guys a treatment structure,
deal, an option.
So I got to say, Bill. Now the movie I was going to make.
Right. Yeah. What was your?
This isn't incomplete.
Right. But you did have something.
I was getting a guy locked in a brothel with 5 prostitutes, and he actually ejaculated in one of them. So he dropped in, and he needs to find out who it was.
One of us is pregnant, Jimmy.
That would have been mine.
All right, Jay
There's
takes
a lot of close up on the guy's forehead, sweat.
Jay takes the pitch versus pitch.
See that? See that?
Sorry.
And that's all it took. Folks.
I feel so vile.
Who's
not because of hearing that, but because my first reaction was, does he have the HIV, the herp, or the hip?
Well, that's it.
That's part of it. I mean, you got to fill the time with something.
If you would have given me, if I would have really thought it out, I would have made like a hell of a hilarious comedy.
It's a close quarters Quentin Tarantino.
It's almost like a blackout happens.
Give this to Seth Rogen.
It's like if he's in a brothel, right? It's electronic doors. And there's a blackout, and he's locked in there with 5 prostitutes, and he's like hammered drunk, and he doesn't know who he slept with, and he didn't use a rubber. So, and he's like interrogating, like, was it me? And they don't even know.
It's gonna be
so it's kind of like a who done it?
Who did I do it
exactly?
to?
Who done her?
Exactly. Who done her?
So it's usual prostitutes.
Right. And this is called the drop.
The drop. Jesus Christ.
As in, who do I drop my load in?
Exactly.
No, but on a serious note,
Bill.
I think Bill takes it.
Thank you. So with that, I have to come up with a title for next week.
That wasn't a movie.
That wasn't already a movie.
Sorry.
Ideally.
Can't believe I just did a pitch versus.
I mean,
pitch
what's a fucking movie, anyways?
You know,
what is a movie?
A movie's always you know, they have movies that have the same name. You know, they just totally different things going on. This is good. This is old. This is from last week, but so I go to the chat room to try and find something to kind of just move this along a little bit. Try to find a good phrase. Right, exactly. That's how that happened.
Which I won, by the way. I remember that.
How about this one? This sounds like something. There could be something. About damn time.
That's just Uncle Jay story.
That's well, work on it, kid. About damn time. That's the title I'm going to pick for next week. I actually came from something that James Baham said last week in the chat room.
Hopefully it's me watching Justice League next week.
And that's what you're going to say. It's about damn time.
Well, wouldn't that have been Wonder Woman?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, probably. So that's going to wrap up the old pitch versus pitch. She's kind of right, you know. Just saying.
A little bit.
I'm just saying. All right, so I guess now, looking at the old list of things to do,
emails.
We got any feedback from anybody in the chat room and all that?
Yeah.
Anybody had
feedback check.
Anybody had any?
Well, Wes made a pitch.
Oh, okay.
What about the idea of a dying music artist that plays the bass and he gets into a battle with others, and his last song is the last time the bass drops?
Oh shit.
It's the Bob Sweeney story.
I'm sorry. I was just reading something here. It says Gal Gadot will only be Wonder Woman again if Brett Ratner is not involved. And well,
Well, I don't think that's going to be a hard thing for them to do.
It's actually she's basically saying she won't sign for the sequel unless Warner Brothers buys Brett out of his financial.
Oh wow, she's throwing around.
Yeah.
Who the
She
fuck's
wants him
Brett
to-
Ratner?
You know what I mean? But he's so tied into
Fucking die, you palm
all the
scum.
DC stuff. Like he's got a producer tag on all that shit from way
Brett
back.
Ratner?
Yeah. It's not a lot. But he's got small tags on stuff.
She wants him killed from the franchise, basically.
He was gonna do Superman. I don't think this is Brett Ratner with DC. I think it's his contract with Warner Brothers.
Yes, well, that's what I mean. That's
He
but
hasn't
this is
been part of the DC stuff.
but this falls underneath that
Yeah.
too. But I think he does kind of get a tag on the screen in the credits list for that. Maybe not.
I don't think
maybe
so.
I'm misinterpreting. I don't know, you're giving me a face like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so I'll just go with that. All right, so there's that.
Yeah.
So let's move it on over into the old land of emails, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody remember emails?
Is that when mail came in the mailbox?
Remember those days? Well, it still comes. It's just more junk mail than ever. Oh, let's see what's in here. Let's go. Let's open it up. Let's open up the old email bag. Let's see who we got. What are we doing? Ooh, totally forgot about those. Wesley sent in a bunch of lightning round questions. You know what, Wesley? We're going to do those next week because I wanted to print those off for everybody. And but do not fret, my friend. We will do those lightning round questions that you submitted. If anybody else ever wants to write out, 40 or 50 lightning round questions, and actually, you know what? We will need another 10, Wesley, because there's 5 of us nowadays. I think you said that you sent in 40. But, that's how it goes. Groups of 10, send in.
Well, maybe one of us writes 10 for you, Bill.
Well, we could do that, too.
Maybe.
Well, let's see what goes on, because if we're going to push it to next week, it obviously gives him time. And since he submitted all those, I guess he could put the cherry on top. That would be the nice thing to do, I guess, right?
Look at Bill handing out homework.
You know what I mean? To him.
Now watch. Ends up one of us won't be here next week.
Yeah, well, right. Some other unforeseen thing will happen. Actually, Jay will be out next week.
No,
his thing's on the 19th.
of next month.
Of next month. Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right, because we were talking about that pre-show. Okay, so first emails coming to us from Stephanie Muniz. Sammy, co-host of the Gotham Lights podcast.
Hey, Steph, huh?
Hey,
What's going on?
Steph here. I was hanging out at the Phoenix Fan Fest today, and we'll be going back again tomorrow. The only person I'm interested in seeing is Ernie Hudson, but I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Should I get a photo with him tomorrow? Why not? I mean, if you got the time, the line's not long.
It's Winston.
What's he charging?
And, he was also the fucking, he was the warden on Oz. I mean, come on. That guy's been in stuff. He was the cop in The Crow. Come on.
Don't forget Congo.
And Congo.
You can't forget Congo.
Can't forget Congo. In other news, Jeff Goldblum let slip in an interview for Thor Ragnarok that there's going to be another Jurassic World movie in 2018, featuring none other than everyone's favorite chaos theory loving scientist Ian Malcolm, alongside Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for this movie.
So am I.
For Ian Malcolm's return alone. Your thoughts? She says, that'll do it for me. Take care, fellas. Your pal, Steph. I'm not big on the Jurassic stuff.
I dislike the first one.
I've never been a big fan.
Yeah.
I like it. I could take it or leave it.
I'm interested to see Goldblum again.
Yeah, I think that brings some life back to it for sure, though. I mean,
I like the first movie.
Okay.
But the concept wears on you after that.
A little bit,
I mean, to me, this is an effects-driven movie. I want to see what kind of dinosaurs they bring up, how they're gonna mix that up.
It's basically a horror movie for kids at this point.
All right, so no, I agree on all that. Moving on to the next one here. It's from our friend
Charlie?
Wesley.
What?
He says, hey, you gentlemen, no real email this week. Work gets busy when your boss takes a vacation, so instead I'll give you a hearty fuck you for Jay as I scream free bird on the way out.
I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good fucking night.
I'm sorry. It just sounded a little backwards there when he was saying that his boss is on vacation. He's working harder.
Right. Well, here's the thing. What's even funnier, there's no real email this week, but meanwhile, he's sending what amounts to a real email.
An email, yeah.
It's not fake. He did
Right.
send something.
You did have to open it and read it.
Actually, that is the preferred length.
It is. I mean, spot on. I don't know what the word count is on this, but it's good, nice, short, sweet. And we'll say thank you for that. For saying a good fuck you to Jay, I guess. I mean, are we supposed to say
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's all right,
Hey, Jay, have a nice day.
Have a nice one, huh?
Fuck yourselves.
Thanks, Jay. You're such a fucking sweetheart.
Yeah.
Baby!
Fucking real fucking sweetheart.
What else we got?
Nothing.
All right, so
That's it. That's going to round out the emails, really, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you.
So what did we learn today, Bill?
We learned a lot of things. I think we learned that, Dom, what did we learn today?
You're a hell of a pitch guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in this round, I guess that's true.
I'm going to be growing quite a crazy mustache over the holidays.
You've sworn to grow the best mustache in Hollywood.
Oh, right, yeah. Right now? Yeah.
You know?
That's the mustache to have.
Who wins in a fight of the facial hair fight? The mustache he's got, or the thing that what's his name has grown in Hateful Eight?
What, Kurt Russell's?
Yeah, Kurt Russell's
well,
muskrat.
It's funny because it's kind of almost the same mustache.
Yeah.
Except that
it's in the same family.
It's a full beard on Russell.
Yeah.
Whereas this is perfected in a way where it's just like a huge, like, I don't know, wave of hair and a little Chiba on his chin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he's got the soul patch going, but also you got to realize, like, after the mustache ends, the handlebars go like another full half inch
into here. You know what I mean? So I got to perfect that.
It's quite the masterpiece.
Yeah.
It is a masterwork of mustaches.
Of mustache.
Yeah. And what last thing that we learned is that Justice League is going to be good.
Yeah.
Justice League.
I think you learned that. That's the thing. I think you've come to the realization that this thing's going to be it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
It's all going to be all right.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, no, because Wonder Woman was good, and I just want to make sure that's not the outlier. You know?
Sure. I mean, that's
was
fair.
also,
So was Man of Steel. That was good, though.
You know, this is going to be a real superhero movie, and it's gonna be really good.
Warning.
You know, I mean, the only thing that's got me worried is that they switched directors towards the end. You know, same reason I'm worried about the Han Solo movie.
Oh, all right.
You know, this is a genuine concern, but
All right.
we'll see, But I'm optimistic. All right, just end the show, please.
Take a breather.
What if I don't want
Relax.
to? What if I don't want to end the show?
Bye. Thanks for coming out.
Hey,
Please put me out of my misery.
have a good day.
All right, folks. With that, okay. All right, that's official.
Have a nice weekend.
All right, you can find Uncle Jay on the Twitters at.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know, can we?
Yeah, I'm still at Uncle Jay at Jason Chickalese.
That's good. That's good.
Yes, I am.
Ed.
I am at Edward O'Hare, TBD.
Dom.
At Dom_Tory. That's TORRE.
And then Bob.
I'm at Bob WTPC.
Awesome. So with that, you can find me at Wicked Theory. You can find the show, wickedtheory.com, and all that kind of stuff. Patreon episode went out this week, so if anybody subscribes and supports, basically, at $3 level, go check that out.
It was fun.
We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. Talking about real stuff a little bit,
Yeah,
too.
like different kind of combo.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
Really wasn't nerd talk at all.
Well, I mean,
really
it was
pop
a little,
culture
it
talk
popped
at all.
in, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing now. Don't know where those things end up.
Yeah.
So with that, folks, I'm gonna tell Brother Bob to take us out of here. I think.
The Wicked Theory podcast is heard live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever. Just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory. Mixler is MIXLR. Sign up to join the chat. Then click the follow button to get reminders whenever the show goes live. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free, and at wickedtheory.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/wickedtheory. There you can get the after show if you miss it live. God forbid. Plus other exclusive episodes. As always, send your emails to podcast@wickedtheory.com.